What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Leighton's Loft. I am J5, not Leighton Sheldon. Uh
All right.
huh.
See, I changed my graphic. Why couldn't you change yours?
There we go.
Yeah. See,
I'm here with Lou. Hi, Lou.
I'm. How are we doing today?
Good. It's been a very long time since we've been on camera together.
I know. I know. I know.
So,
I'm excited to hear it's going to be you and me. You and me today.
yes, we got plenty to talk about. We there's our comments. I want to make sure my comments are coming through. What's up, Josh? That's Hot Life. What's
That's
up?
Josh Hog. Oh, Hog Life. Okay.
Yep.
Arkansas. All right.
Yeah. Tim, Ken, hello, hello. Welcome. Everybody's trickling in. Love
Yep.
it. So, a couple of things I want to talk about. But before we do, I know everybody's wondering who got the 1957 Topps Ernie Banks from the giveaway that we announced on the last show.
Yes, that's right.
And we randomly picked the winner. And I'm just going to show off here real quick. That is the Ernie Banks. Beautifully centered, by the way.
Yeah, it is.
That is gorgeous, Mr. Cub himself. So the winner, I'm just gonna announce it. I don't know if he's here or not, but the winner is Nick Mattiacci.
Nick.
Nick,
Nick.
our
Congratulations.
friendly Canadian neighbor.
Canadian.
Yep, he is Canadian.
All right. Hockey season soon.
Yes, that is true. I feel like hockey just ended. It's crazy.
Come on now. That's
So-
Friday night.
So, Nick, congratulations. That's going to be shipped out to you and your next package, international package.
Now that was part of a collection that Leighton showed us last month, right?
I believe so.
Yeah.
The 57s. I'm trying to remember which one that was. I don't remember which collection. It's been crazy, Lou. I mean, we're buying collections left and right. It's
you got to be working on like 5 at a time anyway. So
it's good to be here in the office working on stuff like this. One of the latest collections that we just purchased. It was from a long-time collector. It's a bunch of 68s and 69 Topps baseball cards.
Oh,
So he had a near complete set, lots of duplicates in his 68s, and there were collector's grades. And he did write a nice letter to us saying, thank you for looking at my collection. I've been a long-time collector, but I think it's time for someone else to enjoy these cards. And we evaluated it yesterday. We finalized it, and there's a nice little segue into what I'm gonna announce here. But I think a couple of guys in chat know already. But we did hire a new Just Collect acquisitions associate,
nice.
and his name is Dan. And basically, Leighton said he's your guy. Take him under your wing, teach him everything you know. Listen, I have 17 years of experience doing this. There's a lot to teach.
Yeah.
So I basically taught him some of the basics, some of the things to look for, to listen for when you're talking to clients on the phone. And so he started working here, I think 3 or 4 weeks ago. And my training with him was like a week and a half, and he's been closing leads. He closed his lead yesterday.
Nice.
And we were happy to get it. And of course, the collection, most of the collection is cards that we're going to use for vintage breaks.
All right. So what did you relearn about your part of the business that when you were teaching Dan that came up? What came back to the surface again that you maybe forgot about?
That's a good question. Because to me, it's just like second nature now when I talk to clients on the phone. But one of the things that I did teach them is, Dan, most of these clients that are calling us with vintage collections, I'm not talking about the modern stuff because we still get calls about 90s junk wax era, not for us. But when it comes to vintage, guys or ladies who collected when their childhood, they are going to open up to you and they're going to talk to you about how these cards brings them back to their childhood.
Yep.
I want you to listen and to learn, because we were not born in that era. We were not part of that, you know, generation of buying cars from
Yep.
corner stores for 5 cents and 10 cents. And I told him, listen, learn, because most of our clients are gonna tell you these kind of stories here or there. And what I learned throughout the years was, for example, flipping. Never knew what that was. No idea.
Oh yeah, we all
Um,
flipped. Yep.
but I didn't know it was like a very popular game. I had no idea. I learned throughout the years what it meant, the the different types of ways that these guys play, try to win all the time. Um, from a collection we purchased recently, his name was Larry. He told us his secret. He used to bend the cards
That's right. Yep.
just a little bit, so it can get into the wall. And apparently, if the card lands on the wall, like standing up, you
Yep.
literally win everything on there.
Yep.
Otherwise, whoever's closest gets the hoard, whatever.
But you get a lot of bent. You get a lot of bent cards that way, though.
It's something that Leighton found out why some of these cards we buy have that type of warping.
Funny you say that, because when you talked about those two collections and you said 68, the 68 tops, that's my set. That because it's right in that era for me. I'm a Red Sox fan, so 67 with the Red Sox, 68 I was booming on baseball, and just collected that. I just love that set. It's my favorite set, and I just cringe at all the Bob Gibson 68s I used to have that are
It
now gone away.
doesn't hurt that it had
Oh,
a Ryan rookie, a Johnny Bench
yeah,
rookie.
Nolan Ryan
Um,
rookie. Yep.
so those guys are the
And I've
best
still got
cards.
this one. I still got this one, and I was funny. I drove by the place the other day in a town in New Hampshire that I drove by, and I bought this card. I didn't buy cards like in a card shop, but I was in a card shop, and it was a 68 tops of Game 6 of the 67 World Series where Rico Petrocelli hit 2 homers, and it was autographed by Rico.
That's awesome.
And I bought it. And this was years before we met, and we started working together a little bit. But it's like I still have that card. That's my
That's
son
awesome.
gets the rest of my collection. I get that card.
And of course, to have Rico there, sign it, like that's awesome. It's meaningful,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
But these are the stories that I'm telling Dan.
Yeah.
Take notes, listen. When other clients talk about it, they're going to say, "Oh, this is before your time," but we used to do this. Dan can just go back to his memory and be like, "Oh, I know that is John Doe. Like, yeah, flipping. I heard you guys do this a lot.
Yep.
Bicycle spokes, this and that." So that's one of the things to me I already know a lot about. So when my clients talk to me about it, they're shocked that I
Yep.
know about it, because I do sound young on the phone.
And later in that conversation with that client, you just referenced something that they said before of their favorite player or whatever. It means so much to them because it means you're listening. It means you're engaged.
Yes.
Yep.
And I personally love hearing stories about that, because I didn't grow up in the Mickey Mantle era or the Jackie Robinson era.
Yeah.
I wish I did, but I didn't. So
No.
they teach me something. Every collection I purchase or I help close, I learned something. What's up, Todd? Yep. What's up, Ken, Tim, again, Brian K, James Goshaw, Al. Hello. Um,
Tim's talking about putting cards in the spokes. That was a thing back then too.
yes.
Yeah.
Well, that collection that I mentioned to you earlier with Larry, he had a stash for flipping, and he had a stash for not flipping.
But not.
And
Yeah.
so he grew up in I believe in the Philadelphia area. So Mickey Mantle was not flipped. Any Philly cars were not flipped. So it was nice to know that he knew these Hall of Famers don't flip them.
He was a smart guy. He was a smart
Yeah,
kid back then. Yep.
yeah. And he did mention, like, during recess, he was allowed to go to the corner store, buy a pack, and then take it back into school and open it up there.
Brian talks about
Which,
the history of these cards, the vintage cards. That's one of the things I love about Vintage Breaks so much and Just Collect is that when we do this show and when you guys do your show and get a collection in, we hear the story of the collection too. And that means more to me when I know the story behind the card means more to me.
yeah, and I tell my guys too, like, I know you want these to go to someone who's going to enjoy them. Trust me, we got people that are going to enjoy them. Yeah, in my head, I'm going vintage breaks, breaking maniacs. They're gonna love these cards.
Yep.
If they're gradable, obviously we grade them and we sell them individually. Whoever buys them is going to enjoy that card. But that's right. That's why we write these blogs,
Yep.
because the person who buys this, I don't know, graded. Let's say he had a 56 mantle. Once it's graded, they can actually look back into our website and know where it came from, who
Yeah,
had
you can
this
get that.
card.
You can get that mantle at a convention from a dealer, and that's what it is. It's a dealer card. You bought it. It's transactional. You get it, say, from Vintage Breaks, and you know where the collection came from. You know the person who collected it, or it came from their father or their grandfather or something. And it's like it just adds a little bit more to the value of the card, in my opinion. Just knowing a little bit more of the backstory of the card.
Exactly, like Tim said, the story behind them,
Yep,
priceless.
absolutely. We've had
Because
so many great stories just on this show alone. You guys must deal with it every day.
and that's why I told Dan, like, just learn, just listen, learn, let them vent, because
Yeah.
that's what they want to do. Because most of the times, most of the like the number one reason is because their kids are not interested.
Yep.
They don't care about the cards. If anything, money is a different story.
Yep.
So they're afraid that if they leave them to their kids who are not interested, they might go to a corner pawn shop, sell it for dirt cheap, and then that'll be it.
Yeah.
That's why they come to us, because we're professional. We give
Yep.
them an appraisal, where we make a fair offer. They can either say yes or no.
Plus,
And
the kids aren't going to listen about their dad or their granddad who collected them or where they came from and things like. The kids aren't interested, generally speaking.
right, but money does talk. So if they get a good amount of money for it, they can give that to their kids or to their grandkids and put in a trust fund or a savings account or whatever. That is what most of our clients are worried about. Like, they don't want their kids or their family members to not know what to do with these cards.
Right.
Because they might not have the patience to do the research. They
Right.
might reach out to a professional company. That's what they're afraid of. And again, they want to sell it to someone who knows sports cards, who vintage especially.
And
So
it's different. It raises it above transactional level. That's just collecting vintage breaks all over. Just it's not transactional. It's there's much deeper meaning to the card, and that's so important because we can go on eBay and buy whatever the hell we want, but that's transactional. But this is a little bit deeper. It's got a whole different tinge to it.
yeah, so that's one of the key things I taught Dan. It's a good question you brought up, and
Yeah.
Because everything else after that, it's math, Excel, like looking up databases for what the condition is. Well, that's the other thing I had to teach Dan was the condition.
Yeah.
Nobody's perfect, because even PSA is still going through human hands, human sight.
Mm-hmm.
We think it's a 5 or a 6. They think it's a 2 or a 3. Like, it's we just do our best, and we I try to teach them what to look for, the 4 factors that PSA looks for.
Yep.
And I told them, be conservative, because these are photos. Let me look at it, and I'll rather bump it up than you starting up here and then me telling you, no, they're actually down here, because the
Yep.
client doesn't like that either. I'd rather give the client better news than, hey,
Yeah.
your car is actually higher once we saw it in person.
Okay. Yeah. So be conservative, and you can bump it up if you want to. Yeah.
Yeah, that is always much better to tell them on the phone.
Oh yeah.
So,
Helps the whole transaction. Yeah.
exactly. So, yep, he just landed that deal, as I mentioned, and he's working on many others, just as like I'm working on others. But Leighton is traveling more, because we are promoting that we do travel for high-end collections.
Yep.
And by high-end, Lou, I'm talking about like this guy, like, for example, has a 33 Gaudi complete set. He has like 200 of the 400 T206 cards, all Hall of Famers. Like,
Yep.
this is the stuff that Leighton will love to travel to, but the process is the same.
But even then, you and Dan are going to vet this collection before he does the traveling, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
The process is the same. But I told Dan, you're gonna get a couple of these very high-end collections of evals, but you're going to get a lot of the medium, like average type stuff, collector grades, collections that we love to buy. Because remember, Lou, a lot of auction houses don't buy these type of collections.
Right.
They want the high-end stuff.
Right.
Which makes sense. But for us, that's great. buy the collection. Here's a check. Let's write a story.
What's Hog Life's name again?
Josh.
Josh, tell us your daughter's name so we can say hi to her.
Yeah, good little shout out to Josh's daughter. um, but yeah, that's we're happy that Dan's on board and he enjoys it. He's genuinely enjoys looking at these vintage cards, just like I was 17 years ago.
You can't do that job, and you guys wouldn't pick someone who didn't have some kind of heart in it as well. So, because it's all passion, right?
Pretty much. Remember when I started 17 years ago, I didn't know much about vintage cards. I knew about the modern cards. I knew Mickey Mantle, Babe Ruth, but
Yeah.
who doesn't, right? But Ralph Kiner, um, Johnny Padres, and stuff like that. Like, who? But I learned a lot throughout this years of who these Hall of Famers are, even though they're not tier 1.
Yeah,
they're tier 2, tier 3. They're still Hall of Famers.
Have you been to the hall?
So I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
I know there are special packages that you can pay when you go to the Hall of Fame. I am wholeheartedly now definitely want to go there and buy one of those packages.
You're in New Jersey. You're not that far. You got to take the trip. Go to the hall.
I definitely want to go now. There's a package, Lou, that you actually get to golf with the Hall of Famers.
Really?
Yeah, but it's a lot. It's a lot. But I mean, I love golf. I don't want to try and buy that and be awful at it and delay everybody. I don't want to do that.
Oh, trust me, they're Hall of Famers in baseball, but I don't know if they're Hall of Famers in golf, so I wouldn't worry about it. Belle, hi, everybody.
Belle.
Say hi to Belle. How you doing? Thanks for joining.
Hi, Belle. Hope you're enjoying the show.
Would Todd asks, with the economic uncertainty, seeing more collections coming in for potential sale?
More of the average collector's grade 60s and 50s. That's where we're seeing a lot of, like mid to late 50s, early to mid 60s. We're seeing a lot of Todd, and sprinkle in there early 50s, late 40s, some early 30s, and then some late 60s, early 70s. It's hard to explain to our clients that the 70s cards they're not worth a lot because they're very easy to obtain.
Right.
But to them, that's still vintage. And unfortunately, there's no shortage of 70s cards.
There's still that nostalgic emotional pull to them like there was for the 60s cards in the 50s and 40s.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's where we're getting a lot of, Todd. It's just the 50s, 60s, mid 50s to mid 60s. No, I did not know the years of the cards. Dan was going through that. He was not. I tested him a couple times. He got me 1 out of 6 right. It's not easy. What I do, like my trick, I memorize the designs. Because the designs are all different.
Your trick is you've been doing it 17 years. That's your trick.
Yeah. So the border on the top left is a 66 tops. 54 tops has no top border, but it's a nice bigger size. Stuff like that I memorized like years ago.
You'll get it.
And it just became just brain muscle memory at that point because. I started off, Lou, I think I started off as data entry. That was my first position in Just Collect. I was typing up these cards already graded, sometimes they're not, and I was putting them on eBay. So for those in the chat who don't know, that was my first position at Just Collect, was data entry. So I'm looking at these cards, not familiar with any of these names, especially the years. And as I kept going, I kept looking at them. My brain just kept knowing the designs, and I didn't learn about the actual players until a little later on when I actually started doing evaluations.
And now the student has become the teacher.
Now I've become Yes, a lot of the older ones don't have dates. That's right. So you will have to just know by just knowing the designs and what years they're from. And that's what Dan's going through right now. But he's getting better and better. The more he does it, the easier he's going to get, basically. So yeah, that's it's fun to have another person at Just Collect to go through the process and talk to people besides me and Leighton.
Yep.
So And of course, with Dan here, and he closes more deals as I close deals, the more cars we can provide to Vintage Breaks.
Yep. No,
More
Dan's got a
bonus.
great teacher. He hit the jackpot on a teacher, that's for sure.
Well, thank you. I try. I try.
Bell,
Um,
we can't hear you, hon, but we're glad you're with us. So, hi again.
but yeah, our main event just ended this past weekend. It was a tremendous event as usual. Lots of fun, lots of bonuses, lots of cards given away, and we always have fun. A lot of our, not a lot, but a couple of our clients were new. This was their first event, and Sunday nights are very chaotic, hectic, fun, but very hectic.
Yep.
And our new event is we're going to announce it today, but our next event is ending November 3rd.
Okay, great.
So we'll have more details later on, but I think our next show is going to be the week. Yeah, it's going to be right after the event ends.
Oh, excellent. Can hear all about it.
Yep. So tune in to our show at 3:00. We're going to tell you guys more details, and of course, more bonus cards. We have more stuff in our collections we've just purchased. So make sure you tune in.
All right. So welcome, Dan. You got to have him on the show here one month. He's got to step up some month.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll love that.
Yep. How your Cowboys doing? I've been paying close attention.
Not good. I don't think they're gonna do anything this year. I don't think they're not winning the division. I can tell you that.
Are you ready for Bill? Do you want Bill to coach now?
Oh, definitely. Well, I don't know about Bill, but definitely
Another
a new coach. Definitely a new coach. They just paid Dak, so another 4 years of misery. Another 4 years of good regular season football. Can't get nowhere in the playoffs. It's 4 years of that. So
could be worse. Your quarterback could be Jacoby Brissett. That's all I'm saying. So it could be worse.
It could be Daniel Jones.
Could be Daniel Jones. That's right too.
Josh hit Thurman Munson last night. Nice. That's part of our giveaways in the chat. So,
oh, nice.
All right, but that's our time, guys. I hope you guys enjoy a little background into Just Collect. And as you guys know, we're always going to be making sure we have bonus cards for you guys, whether it's a $10 level, $100 level, $500 level, $1,000 level, a little bit for everybody. Budgets are all over the place. So we have something for everybody at vintagebreaks.com.
All right. Great to get to chat again, John.
Likewise, Lou. Thank you so much. And thank you guys in chat. Make sure you tune in back in here at 3:00 for Sam and VB North. And we'll have a great show today.